Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back in. Tuck Rule Takes episode 128.
Damn.
Al Nahegan is here. Liam McDade is here. Liam and I are rocking the gray Under Armour short sleeves. We got to show off the chest, show off the pecs. Liam's got a little bit more to show off than I do. I just look like kind of a blob here. Liam's actually looking like he's got a little definition. Liam, first of all, how was your Easter? How was your weekend? Did you eat anything good?
Oh, I ate so much. It was marvelous. Easter, it was cool. I slept until 10, woke up and started drinking and drank the whole day and hung out with family. It was actually nice. I had probably the most fun I've had with my family since I was born. So I would say it was a good day. As for what I did over the weekend, I'm sure it was something eventful. I helped my buddy's parents move. That was pretty tedious. They gave me a bunch of Italian beer for it, so that was nice.
There you go. Nice little reward. We love that.
Yeah, and then I went out with my lady and got rip roaring drunk one of the nights. It was actually just a very relaxing weekend. Since I've become a regular 9 to 5 guy like you and
Mhm.
other people in the normal world, I see why everyone's fucking tired all the time. Like, no,
Welcome
no,
to the world, pal.
yeah, no one has any energy to think about anything else. Like, I'm just like worn out at the end of each day. It's
Yep.
ridiculous. It's
Oh,
almost
it's
miserable.
it's the absolute worst. But I would rather take the 9 to 5 than what you used to do, like the 1 to 10, 2 to 10.
Mm,
Like I couldn't do that. By the way, Liam, we have to acknowledge that there was a National Patriots holiday that passed us just a couple short days ago.
yeah, there
Obviously, this
was.
is past recording, but happy belated 328 day, the
Yeah,
celebrating the comeback of the 28-3 Super Bowl
yeah.
51.
A national holiday. We're the only ones that celebrate it. Everyone else probably detests it. But in the subject of the holiest of days, one moment still sticks in your head. You can see it like clockwork, like film. It replays in your head. Just one for that
Oh,
game because there's a million. So just the
oh,
first one that comes to your mind, I gotta hear it.
Oh my God, that's easy. That's the Donta Hightower strip sack on third down. Are you kidding me?
That's awesome. I
Allen
love
Branch,
it.
Allen Branch recovers the fumble. They get the turnover they need.
Yeah.
Sets up a one-score game. Classic, man. And Donta
Uh,
Hightower, now Patriots linebackers coach,
Mr.
coming back
February
to bestow his wisdom upon the younger generation of Patriots. How
is
about
a
for you?
fucking stud. Um, I'm a little biased because I was posting on the Talk World Takes page that day, and what inspired me to do so was the Robert Alford pick. And I
Ah,
remember
yeah.
just in real life being like, well, this sucks. Like, we're out of it now. So even though like it's not like a yeah, go Patriots moment, it was a moment of utter defeat for me where I'm like, yeah, we're fucked. Like, holy shit. Brady threw a pick six in the Super Bowl. That never happens. I was like, we're over. So I look back on it now and it's like, how did we come back from that? It gets me fired up every time.
And yet we still don't mention the Julian Edelman catch. That's a sin.
No,
That's a cardinal sin.
which is an all-time play. If that happened on like a Thursday night game, it would be replayed all over the place. Let alone for that to go down in the Super Bowl. It almost makes you think the game's fixed. Like that really goes down on the biggest stage. That happens in the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
It really does. It was crazy to think about how it happened in real time. And even watching the replays of it, you're still like watching the ball just like stay up in the air for a second. You're like, how does it? It's like it's in slow motion, and then Edelman just
Yeah.
scoops it up.
And you know what? It's that old cliche the from Any Given Sunday, the Al Pacino speech. 1 second too slow, too fast. You don't quite catch it. It's literally like a second later, that thing's hitting the ground. It's hovering an inch over when he clasps his hands on it for the last time.
Crazy, man. Absolutely
Tears.
crazy. So we're recording this on April 1st. First of all, happy birthday to my dear father. Happy birthday, Dad.
Hey, tell the old stud I said hi.
I definitely will. I'll tell him you said happy birthday. It's also April Fool's Day. And Liam, I told you before we started recording that I have an opening take that doesn't even revolve around football.
Ah,
April Fool's Day, unless you are a young child, is one of the dumbest holidays out there. There's no point of it. There's no significance of it. No one tried to pull a prank on me today. I actually, funny story real quickly. I actually changed seats because I change seats every beginning of the month. I just change the seats around, get a little different dynamic. And the kids are like, some of their seats are like, Mr. Nahiga, this is an April Fool's joke, right? I'm like, no, sit down.
funny
No.
circumstance. Shut up, sit down.
Be quiet.
Actually, you did get April Fools today. Not even because somebody was looking to play a prank on you, because I'm a friggin' idiot, and I sent that Brandon Ayuk for T. Higgins trade, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, that was a bad look on your part. That I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie to you.
that
You're
was dumb.
usually very
You didn't
level-headed.
buy it. You didn't
No,
buy that one.
no, because it didn't make
That's
any
weird.
sense.
It must have caught me really early in the morning or something because like I said, I work a normal job now. I'm an early riser.
Right.
I was up at 6 o'clock this morning. So I wake up
Oh.
and I'm like, oh my God, overnight they traded T. Higgins for Brandon Ayuk. Not even realizing it was posted like 5 minutes before that. I'm like, oh, they
Yeah,
fucking
it
got
was
me. And like I
ridiculous.
sent it, didn't think about it. And then like when you guys started responding like 10, 20 minutes later, I was like, oh my God, it's April Fool's Day. I bought that. I'm an idiot. And not only
Yeah,
did I
that
buy it,
was one
I
of your
sent it out to
bad
my
moments.
co-host being like, oh my God, this is crazy. And after I just kind of stared at him like, damn, not your best today, Liam. Not your
No,
best.
definitely off your game. And I mean, I will say, I also said don't tread lightly when the expression is tread lightly. Not as
Yeah.
big of a screw up as you, but still a mini. Like even Mike was like, Mom, Mr. Teacher, figure out how to use words. And I'm like, listen, I work with numbers, not
Yeah,
words. Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
So,
Right, your
anyways,
wheelhouse.
but yeah,
Normally, though, back in the day, I would bang my fist and disagree with you wholeheartedly and say that I love April Fool's Day. I remember calling my mom when I was in high school and telling her that I fell down the stairs and broke my leg, and she flipped out, and that I was calling from the nurse's office. I think I actually did call from the nurse's office, but
oh,
yeah, the
wow.
nurse was a sweetheart. She's actually dead now. Rest in peace, Nurse Heisman.
All
But
right. RIP,
yeah,
Nurse of Hingham High.
she was the best. But yeah, scared the hell out of my mom. Haha, April Fool's joke. She didn't find it funny. I slept in the barn that night. But I used to love April Fool's Day, and now I feel like I'm really harping on this point, but now it's like I don't have time for it. Like I don't think about it. I
Right.
really want to play a prank like I probably did last year. I usually throw like something easy out there. I
Yeah.
just like now it's just annoying. I look on Instagram and everything's fake and like all these April Fool's jokes. Do you see what Kowloon posted?
Yeah, that but Kowloon, and listen, I'm a Saugus guy originally, so I, grew up with Kowloon literally in my backyard.
Yeah, I'm
But like
such.
everybody says that Kowloon's gonna get sold every other month. It's like, oh, it's gonna get sold, it's gonna get sold. I don't buy anything anymore till I see a closed sign on the doors for good. So I don't even buy any of that. It's just
What
so
do you think? It's like
brutal.
a marketing tactic to create urgency and get people in there?
Probably, but they don't even need the marketing urgency. They're so
No,
well known around the North Shore of Massachusetts and just all Massachusetts and New
Massachusetts.
England in
Yeah.
general. It's like it's crazy. But anyways,
Yeah.
just to kind of wrap that up, I don't really have a I don't really have a need for April Fool's Day, Liam. It sounds like you're kind of in the same boat now that you're a big boy 9 to 5 job. But yeah, let's talk about some Patriot stuff because there's not a lot that went on. But Liam, I know you said you had a couple things you wanted to hit on. I got a couple things that I want to hit on. Quick story about your boy Cam Newton, and this is really fast. So Cam Newton went on the Fourth and One podcast, and do you remember in the Cam Newton year where we got that viral meme of Cam Newton sliding down the bench when he's talking to N'Keal Harry
Yeah.
after the Raiders game? We
Did he
finally got the
explain it?
reason as to why. He finally explained it. It's not that big of a story, but do you want to know why he did it?
Why?
Because supposedly N'Keal Harry told Cam Newton that he averaged 40 points a game in basketball in high school.
Cam's
That
like, nah.
Yeah, and then he's like looking at him, he's like, and then he just slides casually down. Which, by the way, looking back on that, the one thing I'll give Cam Newton, that was a flawless slide. That was
Yeah.
like brilliantly executed. Like, didn't look like he hurt himself, didn't look like he hurt his back. It was just zoop, just like a worm. Whoop.
Right off those metal benches.
Oh, it was crazy. But
I
we
would have
finally
had the
got an
same
answer.
reaction though.
I know.
If N'Keal Harry's trying to tell me that he's a good athlete, I laugh in his face. No, not a chance.
Not a chance at all. But yeah, I just figured you would like that because I know you're a big Cam Newton guy. Now we finally can put that rumor to bed.
Yeah.
If Mike doesn't listen to this, I want to try to ask him about it next week, but I'm sure he'll listen. So I'm sure he'll figure it out. By the way, we should have said this off the cuff. Programming note, Mike is not on this week, just scheduling conflict. Nothing bad's happening. Nothing crazy happened. No, it's not an April
He has
Fool's
a
joke.
brain tumor, but other than that,
Yeah, April Fools. But yeah, so
gotta get it in.
it's me and Liam this week, obviously, as you guys have been hearing for the first 10, 15 minutes of this podcast. So now that that's out of the way, Liam, I'm going to create a draft night scenario for you. And I just want your raw, authentic take. Are you ready?
Ready to raw dog this take, baby.
All right. With the third pick in the 2024 NFL draft. The New England Patriots select J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, University of Michigan. Now, why do I say that?
Because of this astronomical, inexplicable hype that's around him for some absurd reason.
So there was
a
a
white guy from Michigan.
So there was a report that came out today that supposedly Elliot Wolf sees, quote, the biggest upside of any quarterback in JJ McCarthy. Apparently could be pushing for the Patriots to take JJ McCarthy with the third overall pick. Now, I wanted your reaction, and you looked like you were, I'm not going to lie, you didn't give as much of a reaction as I thought you would have, but you definitely seemed stunned. You were throwing up the O for OSU for Marvin Harrison Jr., but just kind of the opening thoughts on this, Liam. If the Patriots take JJ McCarthy, I think that does a couple things. First of all, that's going to sadden everybody that's a Patriots fan across the country.
Pleases no one.
Right. Nobody's going to be amused by it. Second of all, it's kind of like drafting a little bit better version of Mac Jones 2.0 because JJ McCarthy,
similar.
Well, think about it, right? JJ McCarthy's coming off his senior season where he led his team to a national championship. Mac Jones did the same thing. Now, granted, they're different types of quarterbacks, right? We could say that Mac Jones is more of a pure pocket passing quarterback, had the big time weapons. JJ McCarthy kind of ran a Michigan offense that was more ground and pound. They had Blake Corum in the backfield that was unbelievable in his 4 years at Michigan. Yeah. And they built a lot on the ground and pound and then play action and everything else too. So JJ McCarthy kind of had to just steer the ship in the right direction, just kind of keep it in neutral and go, as opposed to going full force. We didn't really need to do a lot. My thought is, why are you going to pass up on potentially either a Drake May, who, again, Liam, you know this, I'm not a big Drake May guy, but I would rather take Drake May than JJ McCarthy.
I would too.
Or Jaden Daniels and his screwed up elbow. Like, I would rather have.
Oh my God, that is disgusting.
You seen that thing? It looks like it's like one of those it's like you're peeling an onion almost, right? Yeah. But like you're peeling a potato, and it's like you're peeling the layers off, and it's like you missed a layer, and it doesn't look right.
Dude, fix that.
Yeah, he needs to get that elbow fixed because otherwise he's gonna have some problems. But back to it, I mean, I would be really disappointed, and I would be like, you know what? I wouldn't be able to talk myself into this one like I did with Mac Jones back in 2021. This one would be like, we've seen this movie before. Yeah, JJ McCarthy can scramble better than Mac Jones can. Yeah, he can create some plays with his legs, but he's not what Patriots fans were hoping for. And I think now a lot of the attention is turned to Drake May because I think Jaden Daniels, and even Brian Kelly said this as pro day, he thinks Jaden Daniels is going to end up a Commander. I think that's going to happen too. So that leaves Drake May to the Patriots, which is like, again, I don't love Drake May, but I'd rather him than JJ McCarthy, who I don't think is going to end up staying here that long. I don't think he's going to last here, but I don't know. I mean, what would be your thoughts if on draft night you heard that exact call from me, except by Roger Goodell? Now, take Roger Goodell out of it. I know we hate Roger Goodell, but just the overall message of JJ McCarthy is going to be here full time as the Patriots starting quarterback of the future.
I mean, when great news has hit the Patriots, I celebrate by going streaking. We signed Darrelle Revis. I automatically knew we were going to win the Super Bowl. I went streaking. You know, we signed Cam Newton. I went streaking. We won a couple of Super Bowls. I went streaking for all of them.
Now, when we say streaking, just real quick, are you talking like just full out? Or are we going? What are we talking here?
Oh, I commit to it. Yeah, no.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Okay. Yeah. I go full nature boy. But
there you go.
Yeah. So whatever the opposite of that would be, I guess, like I'd calling a bomb threat to my own house, I guess. I'd be completely devastated, absolutely beside myself, enraged. Like, this is the thing you break TVs over. And I always thought those fans were irrational, well, hilarious, and I love watching them. I would break my TV. Something would have to die around me. I would be absolutely furious. It doesn't make sense. Where did you see this, first of all, I guess?
I just saw it all over Twitter. There were some reports that came out, and a lot of Patriots fans were kind of picking up steam on it. So I don't know how much I buy into it.
Weird for him, though. I said this in the last episode. His PR team, I need them talking me up to like jobs and my about my resume and about my character as a person because they are selling this dude when there have been no games played. His stock has shot through the roof.
But well, because
So
remember, you're not a 9 to 5 guy. Just keep that in mind.
yeah, no, absolutely, yep. Just water cooler pencil pushing dick. But yeah, friggin' I'm beside myself where great, he just had his pro day, and he, like any other quarterback, had a few bombs, like really can throw the ball against air, which I can do. I gotta say, I look good when I'm throwing on the beach against air, like I'm killing it. But that's the point. Like, there's no defenses. You got your own receivers. It's Johnny Manziel looked great on his pro day. I still love Johnny Manziel. I think he's a good quarterback, but even he looked good on his pro day, and he was a shitty NFL quarterback. I think
Right.
it's completely blasphemous that his stock has risen when he hasn't thrown a football. He hasn't played a game, and when he did play a game, he didn't play a lot of them. I think I had the stat in the last show. I think he played 26 games, maybe a little more than Drake May, who I was concerned about anyway. And you said it yourself, like he handed the ball off for most of it. Uh, I I've looked at a bunch of his scouting reports. I haven't really watched the tape yet. Like I spent a lot of time on Drake May and then, just completely threw myself into Marvin Harrison. So I really haven't like looked at any I haven't even watched Drake Mays yet. And I like you said, I think he's going to the Commanders, but I still want to look at it and see like is this guy actually good? Like what are my problems with him personally? But with JJ, like all the scouting reports I read, the weaknesses are pretty glaring. People like question his football IQ and stuff like that. And like anything else, you can find other players that they had these comments about. He ended up being fine, but they didn't use him much. It was just, even if he ends up being great, the sample size is not big enough that it'd be worth taking with the third overall pick. First, it seems like a gigantic reach. Let's let the Vikings do that, or a team that
Right.
is trading up. It's just not worth the risk. At least if you take Drake May and he blows, you're like, all right, well, he was expected to be the number two quarterback. That's like, that'd
Like,
be like, it just doesn't make sense.
I think at that point, you're better off trading your number 3 pick and trading a first rounder next year. Go get one of Minnesota's first round picks this year and Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson. Like
Yeah.
that would be the
If
move
that's the case, yeah.
because you get the number 1 receiver who's probably not going to stay long term in Minnesota anyway. I would be
Yeah.
shocked, especially since they're going through a rebuild now.
I
That
hear the
you,
rumors that he's looking at a big deal, though. So
yeah, I mean, he's looking for a big deal. I don't know if Minnesota is going to want to fork over the dough, especially when there's no quarterback right now to throw him the ball.
Sam Darn.
Oh yeah, Sam Darnold. He's going to be seeing ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
But again, JJ McCarthy just doesn't do it for me at number 3. And if they make that mistake on draft night, I think you're going to hear a lot of riot against the fans being like, "What is this vision you're saying? Where are you thinking? Why are you thinking this? Like, what is the plan? Like, what? I don't see the vision here."
It pleases no one because Patriots fans, at least the discourse that I see online, are split between Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Marvin Harrison, and that's kind of the normal discourse for Patriots fans. Picking JJ McCarthy would be such a out of left field pick. The whole fan base would be pissed when they're already on edge about all the bullshit that's gone on the last couple of years, and
Yeah,
especially this offseason.
yeah,
It's like when a fullback scores a touchdown in a game and fantasy owners are, they have the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver. They're like, all right, somebody's got to score. And the fullback scores, like, this helps no one. What the fuck is this? Or like the sixth string wide receiver gets in there and backup running back scores. You're like, this helps no one. That's exactly what I think of with this pick, where it's like, all right, you pick JJ McCarthy. This helps fucking no one. 2 months ago, while the season was going on, he was like a late first round, second round guy. He was in there with Bo Nix and Penix and all the other guys way down the draft board.
right.
And for no reason. He's up there now. It blows my mind. It
So,
completely.
so I'll say this. So, just looking real quick at Bleacher Report, they put out a mock draft on looks like Monday morning, on April 1st. So I mean they have the top 3 that are pretty much the order that we've been saying. Bears take Caleb Williams number 1, Jaden Daniels number 2 of the Commanders, Drake May to the Patriots number 3, which again, if that's your absolute option, you're in love with him, fine. MHJ to the Cardinals, and then the Vikings trading with I almost said the Clippers, Jesus. The
Nice.
Chargers. Vikings trading with the Chargers to get JJ McCarthy at 5. Now that would make sense because they need a quarterback and they would trade up to the Chargers who don't need a quarterback because they have Justin Herbert.
Well,
So
what's the draft order? Because like the Cardinals don't need a quarterback, the Chargers don't need a quarterback.
yeah.
Obviously, if they're trading it, but
Giants are
Broncos
at
are in there.
6. Giants are at
Strong.
6.
So that might be
Titans
the
are
fear
7.
that the Giants are going to take him.
Right.
And like, do we think they're really willing to blow up the Daniel Jones experiment? Probably, maybe, right?
I think they're ready to move on. I think they realized giving him that contract was a mistake. And I think that they realize that they need to go in a different direction because Daniel Jones is not a winning quarterback in the NFL.
No, but then you're just eating that dead money, paying a dude who's not going to play. It's going to be
Look,
an all-time failure. You look like an idiot.
look what the Broncos did. The Broncos are willing to eat Russell Wilson's dead money.
Yeah, I
Like, I
guess.
mean, it's just the way it is now. Like, if your quarterback isn't working, especially for a Broncos team that had a lot of those pieces in place, like you need to move on, and that's what they're doing. They're moving on. So
Does
again,
make
just
sense.
just something to kind of keep in mind, Patriots fans, because the draft is about 3 weeks away, 3.5 weeks away, and we need to really be careful with this draft because we got to make sure that it gets nailed. And I mean,
Yeah,
you have to nail this draft.
yeah.
All right, Liam, you had
While
a
we're on the
oh,
subject of the
go ahead.
draft, though, I'm gonna keep on this. I'm gonna address this one early.
Go ahead.
I'm adamant. I see no other option but Marvin Harrison. I've said that ad nauseum. I will say it in the next episode, until draft day comes and they eventually break my heart and I end up drowning myself. Marvin Harrison is the only pick for me. So I look down the board, trying to convince myself about some later tackles and quarterbacks so we could pick up late in the draft that really tickle my fancy. Just a flyer, something entertaining. Whether they turn out to be a star or not, just get somebody in there that can sling the football to Marvin Harrison. Give me a few Kendrick Bourne highlights in there. I'm not like Mike. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. Mike's whatever fantasy world he lives in, I bet it's glorious. I'm eternally jealous of the lollipops and dandies that float around in Mike's head all the time when he thinks about the Patriots. I'm not like that.
And you know that I'm in the same boat as you because I don't think they're
Yeah,
making the playoffs next year too.
yes, it's easily 2 against 1. And
Yes.
that's why while you're on, we can be rational here. They're
Yes.
not going to be good. They're not going to be good this year. They're probably not going to be good next year. Like, call a spade a spade. I want to do this right. Do it long term. We build.
Yep.
So in 3, 4 years, we're competitive and we have something to be proud of. So, Bo Nix, your thoughts? Yay, nay? You think he's
Pass.
interesting?
1,000%
Okay.
pass. I think he's going to be a
Okay.
huge bust.
It's certainly possible. He played for a million years, and he's really only been good this past year in a very easy quarterback-friendly Oregon system.
Yep.
JJ McCarthy, you'd probably be more sold on him later in the draft.
Yes,
He's
1,000%.
probably not going to get there.
No, he's gonna go in the top 10. The way
Yeah.
the draft is going, especially now that we know that the Vikings are going to be willing to potentially trade up, Giants might be looking to take a quarterback. I don't think
Yeah.
he falls past 6, truthfully.
Which is so crazy to me.
I
But
know.
I think that there's definitely some merit to that. So Michael Penix.
Here's the thing with Michael Penix. If the Patriots had a more sturdy offensive line, more stable offensive line, I'd say yes, go get it. But who's to say that? Well, then again, his blind side would be Mike Nwenu, who's one of the best offensive tackles in the league. So maybe feel a little better about that. I know you hate it,
That was a
but
direct shot.
that wasn't even. But the stats back it up. The stats do
That's
back
fine.
me
That's
up on
fine.
that
Yeah,
one.
no, stats don't
But
tell the whole story. But yeah.
if you don't get that offensive line to be good, like one bad hit and one bad landing on the knee from Penix, and there goes your season with him. And you're back to square one, and you
Yes.
got Jacoby Brissett starting the rest of the year, which would be fine.
Yeah.
But again, I need to know that Michael Penix is going to be protected because you can't have him going through these knee surgeries and anything else anymore. It just can't happen. Can't have it happen.
Yeah. How many times did he tear his ACL? Like 3 times.
At least twice, I think, if not, like you said, 3 times. But so I would, again, just to clarify, if the offensive line gets better and you get a weapon, then yes, go get Michael Penix in the second round. I could live with that.
So I got another name for you. Somebody who's building some hype. Clearly not JJ McCarthy hype.
I think I know who you're gonna say, but
more deserved.
what do you got?
What color team does he wear?
Orange? Joe Milton.
Joe Milton. What do you think?
I think if you're going to get him, he's at least a 1 year guy, or he's going to sit for 1 year, maybe even 2 years. But you got to, again, like I said, with all these quarterbacks, you got to be sold on the quarterback. You can't just pick one for picking one.
Not if you're taking him. Yes, if you're taking him in the late rounds, take him just to take him. Like I think I proposed my draft strategy to you guys a month or so ago.
You did.
If I was a GM, I'd take a quarterback every year just for the fuck of it. 6th round, 7th round, doesn't matter. Brock Purdy was the last pick. All these quarterbacks are being good, and they're late round picks.
They are, but again, do you really want to take a chance on someone that you don't know is going to pan out? Yeah, I know you just said the Brock Purdy example, but how many Brock Purdys are there?
These guys are good. We don't, not many, but there's Tom Brady and there's Brock Purdy, and there's
Right.
been plenty of guys in late rounds that have ended up being more than all right.
Right. So again,
but we don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to be good. We don't know if Drake May is going to be good. We don't know if any of these guys are going to be good. So
we don't. You're right.
Instead of betting the house on it, do what you and me used to do when I used to gamble, and you probably still gamble. You sprinkle a little bit, just like $10.
Exactly.
What's $10? Just throw it in there. It's like, oh, maybe I could make $100 with that $10. That's what Joe Milton is to me. I figured him out because of Instagram. So when I saw him, it's just bomb city. It's just him throwing these piss missiles 80 yards down the field, just gigantic bombs. The guy's arm strength is unbelievable. Truly a rocket launcher of an arm. And I think that phrase gets thrown around too lightly. This guy can bomb it. I'm looking at his stats. They're more than serviceable. Almost 3,000 yards, 20 tubs, 5 picks. Even in his worst season, he's never had more interceptions than touchdowns. Doesn't look like he's ever really had a lot of opportunity. Last year, 10 touchdowns, no picks. Looks pretty friggin' good to me. I don't know why the hype isn't there. And like I look at his draft profiles, they say he can't make second reads. Tennessee's a very one read offense, prone to staring down guys and all that stuff. I think that can all be worked out in the pros. I'm not worried about it. Like you said, if we have to set him, set him. I think all quarterbacks should sit for a year. Patrick Mahomes does it and Tom Brady does it. Why shouldn't every quarterback have to sit? I think it's just a safe bet to do that. And then otherwise you get a Mac Jones. But it seems like a no-brainer to me, where it's like it's so low risk, high reward. Guy's got a missile. And if we're drafting a stud, surefire, blue chip wide receiver at 3, give him somebody who can get it to him deep, because he's taller than his dad, faster than his dad, girthier than his dad. Go get the football.
I would love Marvin Harrison Jr. to be here. I really, really would. That would be, I think, a slam dunk pick. I would be celebrating. I'd be hooping and hollering. But I don't think they're going to go wide receiver. I
don't think so either, because they're not going to listen to reason.
They're not. And here's the thing, too. You also need to realize that supposedly the Patriots are in the market still, and I'm putting this in air quotes, in the market for a wide receiver. But I mean, yeah, we know like T. Higgins is still out there. Brandon Ayuk is out there. But what are the odds that they actually get one of these guys? It's slim to none.
And as the days go on, it seems lesser and lesser, unless there's some wild draft day trade, which is possible, but I see it unlikely.
It's very unlikely. I agree.
But like, why doesn't Joe Milton excite you like some of these other guys?
I think it's just like, how did Tennessee do this year too? That's the thing. Like, he's not a part of this winning program. Yeah, he plays in the SEC, but Tennessee's not competing for national championships and stuff like that. Like, I don't even know what their record was this year. I mean, here, just taking a quick Google search at it, Tennessee football. Like, let's take a look at how they were this year, record wise.
Please.
I mean, I'm sure you have it up, Liam. Check the schedule.
So
no. They already have the 2024 schedule up. That's nuts. It's nuts that they already have next season planned out.
Yeah, let's see. That's what I found too.
Let's see. 2023. Are they not showing that? Are you kidding me? They're not showing the record.
It's very difficult to find.
I know. Like, why can't we find it? I don't know.
Competition isn't bad. Like, I'm looking, they play Oklahoma, Florida.
Yeah, they play big time schools. I mean, they're in the SEC. They should play
State, Georgia. Yeah, like the competition's good.
But I don't know. I think it's just you don't really see them a lot. I think that a big thing that you said, and I agree with, it's the read. You got to be able to make that second read when your first read's not there. And I think that that's a step above that the guys like, even like Penix
They
and
were
Bo
9 and
Nix
4.
and 9-4. So not terrible,
It's pretty
but
good. It's
but
pretty good.
also, yeah, but also
So
not.
they lost to Florida. They lost all the good teams.
Yeah, there you go. So not beating a good team could be the case for that. So
But let's look at scores here. Yeah, they got 2 touchdown loss against Alabama. Kind of expected, I guess. 13-point loss to Florida, not atrocious. Got smoked by Missouri, which doesn't make much sense, and then got smoked by Georgia. That kind of makes sense.
it does. I mean, listen, if they ended up with Joe Milton, I'd be like, you know what? That's pretty good. Like, okay.
Let's look at these wins here. Because maybe they're not the best teams, but they're not bad teams. Against Virginia, they win 49-13. Against, that's a shitty team. I'm not even going to bring that up. University of Texas, San Antonio, not great either, but they won 45-14 against South Carolina, who's a damn good school, 41-20. They're putting up consistent 40 balls here. Beat Texas A&M 2013. That's their lowest scoring one. They smoked UConn 59-3. UConn's not good at football, I understand. Kentucky, they beat them by 6. That's actually not that impressive. Vanderbilt 48-24, and Iowa 35-0. So when they win, they're blowing teams out.
Again, I would have to see more of Joe Milton to
Yeah.
really get excited about it. Now, if
So
they
there's
got him
your
in like,
homework. In between
okay,
now, you have a week. Between now and next episode, do some Joe Milton research. Come back to me and tell me what you think. Because from what I've seen, I'm going to do my Jaden Daniels deep dive into him probably this week, and we can come
mhm,
back and talk about it. I I see no reason to think that this guy isn't a baller. At
that's
very
fair.
least, worth the risk.
Okay, I'll take a look when I can. I got you. No worries. All right. I think we've touched on that enough. What do you got next for me?
Hate to do it. I hate to say it. I hate to even bring it up. I don't even want to put that bad juju out there. But literally just today, there's a ton of reports about Kyle Duggar being displeased and dissatisfied with his transition tag. And now of course, the media takes it and runs with it and floats with all these rumors about trading Kyle Duggar, what we get in return, projected like a 4th round pick in return. Seeing as the Titans just traded for the best corner in the league and it was only for a 3rd rounder. I guess that kind of makes sense if Kyle Duggar would go for a 4th. What do you think about this? Because I do not want this dude to leave.
I think it's just the case of sour grapes, right? It's a guy that wanted a long-term contract, but he didn't get it. But it's also giving enough time for the Patriots and Kyle Duggar to come together and say, you know what? We have you at least locked in for 2024. Let's see what we can come up with for a contract extension and
But
have
he
the
hasn't
time
even
to do
signed
it.
the transition tag. Like he's really being dramatic about it.
I don't know why he's being dramatic about it. Maybe he feels like there was a team on the open market that he could have gone on that had a chance to win a championship right now. Maybe that's the reason he's so upset.
But when they make an offer, it's a transition tag. They could.
You would think, but I don't know why. I think the Patriots want to keep Kyle Duggar here long term, but I think they're trying to figure out the numbers and figure out what's right for them and what's right for him. And
Yeah.
I think that's
Because
just
you
something
would think if a team made an offer, it'd be reported, I would imagine.
you would think. But again, like you've always said, and Mike always says, and you guys get mad at me for not realizing this, but it's the Patriots. They keep everything under wraps.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
So,
Turn that logic back on me.
I mean, I don't know. Kyle Duggar should be here long term. Will he be here long term? I don't know. I don't know. But
Yeah,
hopefully this contract can get figured out because they need it to.
he is our defense. I would be devastated if he left.
I would be too.
And I did have a nice little viewing on YouTube where I was checking out Julian Edelman's podcast. I already forget what it's called, but he had Matthew Slater on, and they
Oh
had
yeah.
a lot to say about the Patriots. Do you see anything about this?
I saw little clips here and there, but I'll let you paint the picture.
Yeah, so it was just like guys being dudes. It was actually really cool to just see 2 people who are clearly friends hanging out, reminiscing, and having a good time. And obviously, as Patriots fans, I knew every moment they were talking about. There was a lot of a look behind the curtain, being a player and whatnot. They talked about how they were roommates when they first got to the team because they both got on the team around the same time. And one of the things that really caught my mind is something that we talk about all the time. And they were talking about the Bill Belichick slander and how everyone hates Bill Belichick now. And I guess the theme of Edelman's podcast is they don't watch a game, but like there's a game that they pick for each guest, and they talk about the game, and the Edelman's co-host will say like, the pop culture around it and what led up to the game and how your team did in that season. And he was talking about how Belichick was. They watched, or Edelman watched the Americas game, that 2019. Well, the game for that podcast was the Rams game, the last one, last Super Bowl we won. They
Yeah.
picked that one because there were like 27 punts in the game, and Slater being a special teamer, he actually had a nice open field tackle in that game that Slater just boasted about. More power to him.
We
He's a
love
stud.
that.
Yep. So they were talking about how they watched that, and Edelman said, watching that compared to what's going on now, all throughout that documentary and the hype around that Super Bowl, they were talking about how Bill Belichick's the GOAT. All throughout the America's game, and when they won that last Super Bowl, it was all right. He's the greatest head coach of all the time, undisputed. Like he can do no wrong. The media was just eating out of his hand, and now a short fighter, he's this horrible bad guy, and they were all laughing about it and yucking it up. But he even said that Belichick said way back in the day, what they didn't, I don't think they mentioned what year it was. He's like, one day the media will turn on me too, blah blah blah. Like he saw it coming. So it actually made me feel good to know that, like, it sounds really like cliche, but like I love Bill, and I don't want him to
Yeah,
be hurt by all this bullshit that's going on. I don't want him to think the fans don't appreciate him for everything he's done, because I love the guy. If I ever saw him, his whole night's on me. I'll buy his beer, I'll buy his food, I'll buy everything. I owe him a gratitude I could never repay. But it is crazy how Bill knew it, saw it coming, and they all kind of acknowledged it, and they were making fun of the Dynasty documentary and stuff like that. Slater was like, I when they interviewed me, he's like, I gave my interview, and then when I saw it, he's like, this is not what they told me I was getting interviewed for. And he was basically led there under false pretenses. I thought it was so refreshing to see somebody who finally had like well, this is stupid. Like, why is everyone flipping out about Bill Belichick? And they talked
right.
about how, very candidly, about how, yes, he's strict. Yes, he's a head coach. It's like you probably have a strenuous relationship with your boss sometimes, but if they're a good boss, you probably still love them because they treat you right at the end of the day. But they're going to work you hard. That's their
Exactly.
job. And they were just so realistic about the whole thing. I thought it was fantastic and very refreshing to hear all of it.
And you know what? And I realized this too, and I was thinking about this. I know that when I gave my takes on the dynasty, I know I was like, well, Belichick at this, Belichick that.
Yeah.
I don't think Belichick's a horrible human being
No,
by any means. I think there were some things that he should have done different and could have given us that were different.
I think they
But
paint it like that though, because it's the documentary. They
of
want to skew
course,
you toward a certain angle.
of
Because I
course.
didn't watch the documentary, but they were talking about how Bill basically killed Aaron Hernandez by not shipping him out to the West Coast, and they're like,
Yeah,
that's a stupid.
that
It's
was
like
a little bit
they're like they're reaching there, and talking about how Wes Welker was saying that like Hernandez could do anything he wanted in the locker room. Edelman was like, I heard Belichick, he used an expletive, but he was like,
yeah.
I heard Bill Belichick cuss out Aaron Hernandez left and right all the time, just like everyone else.
Yeah. And it's sad that Belichick gets depicted that way because he
Yeah,
did do a lot of good here, and we obviously know that. Again, I think the Brady stuff doesn't help either. I think that's a lot of, that's
yeah.
a big
Because everyone's going to side with Tom Brady. He's handsome, he's charismatic, he's a quarterback.
right. And he was a big part, just like Belichick was, of winning the 6 Super Bowls and everything. It is nice to see that former players are giving the truth, speaking their truth, and not afraid to speak their truth at all.
Yeah,
Like Matthew Slater and Julian Edelman, they're gonna give it to you like it is. Like
yeah,
especially Matthew Slater. Like we
yeah.
we we gush over Matthew Slater and we say how great of a model citizen he is to these, United States of America. And he is just a true patriot through and through. Why is he gonna lie? I
Yeah.
think there were some things he was upset about. I think in the documentary mentioning that he was upset about, the politics thing, maybe he was upset. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's
And
perfect.
he
Like
mentioned
you're
it
not
in the
perfect.
in
I'm
the
not
episode.
perfect.
Yeah.
Belichick's not
But
perfect.
also Tom Brady was doing the exact same things that Bill did, but you never hear about how Tom Brady did all those same politic things.
Right. Because it kind of gets overlooked. You're right.
Yeah,
So
because he's handsome, and I get it. Like, dude, if I looked like Tom Brady, I'd rule the world, of course. I think it's so crazy how one really bad season and a few media articles can completely sway a whole fan base against somebody who did so much for you. And my pushback was immediate. I'm like, no, 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 no. All those good times, those 6 Super Bowls you had, were because of this guy. Like, what are we doing here?
what was that Carly Rae Jepsen song? It's always a good time.
Yeah, it's
It's
always a
always a
good,
good
so
time.
catchy, bastard. It's gonna be in my head
It
all
is,
day.
but
Yeah,
that's what it was. There were a lot of good times with the
yeah,
Patriots, and there were some bad times at the end. But just
yeah.
like Tom Landry with the Cowboys, it was the same thing. Jimmy Johnson at the end with the
Yeah.
Cowboys too. I'm just trying to think of other coaches. Who's the
What's
coach?
what's that
Who's
Spider-Man saying? It's like you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good quote. I like that one. Who was the coach of the Chuck Noll, the coach of the Steelers in the
Yeah.
70s? Like he had
Mm,
his run and then obviously things kind of fell off. So I mean,
yeah.
at some point it was going to end, and at some point it wasn't going to end pretty.
Yeah.
I've told you thousands of times, and I'll say it 1,000 times more. I think Brady and Belichick after the 2018 season should have both packed it in, and then the rebuild could have started in 2019. But they
Yeah.
didn't. They both, did their thing for a couple more years, and
Yeah. And I don't
now
blame him.
no, I don't either. And that's the thing. I don't blame him either.
Yeah.
But again, good for Belichick for getting the backup of some of his players. He really needed it.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover with that, Liam? Because I have one more question before
Yeah.
we head out for the
Slater was
night.
in rare form. It was awesome. He was like, now that I'm retired, he's like, fuck the refs. He's like, this call, this call, and this call. He talked about the Tom Brady's return game to New England against Tampa. He's like, they called me for running out of bounds. I was not out of bounds. Ridiculous call. It was incredible. He went through a bunch of different games where he thought they were bad calls over the years. And obviously, you and me, you should watch it because I remember all of them. And I was like, that was a bad call. And he just flipped out. He's like, do better, sir. Because Slater doesn't swear, but he loves to reprimand in a clean, family friendly way. He seems like such a nice guy.
He's the type of guy that would be like, "Sir, I respectfully disagree, sir."
Yes. Yeah. And that is a lost art these days.
It
And
really
then
is.
the last point that I wanted to bring up, which I thought was incredible, they talked about Wes Welker and all the interviews with him in the documentary and all the stuff he's done outside of the organization, chastising Bill Belichick. And Edelman's like, dude, I know you hate Bill. Like, just say it. Like, you're clearly very petty. And like, apparently Edelman and Welker are good friends. But it was an incredible moment where Edelman was like, dude, like, we get it. You don't like Bill. Like, that's totally fine. Like, I really think you guys should make up. And he kind of had like this message to Welker where he's like, dude, like, just bury the hatchet. Like, you're both out of the league. Like, and it was such a good moment where I was like, I had no idea that Welker hated him. I don't go on social media that much and pay attention to any of the criticisms, but they were rattling off a bunch of different moments, and I was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like he does seem very spiteful, and like they obviously know Welker, they obviously know Belichick. I'm sure they've had words with both. And I bet Welker's badmouthed Belichick a handful of times, and who knows why it started for whatever reason. But I was like, no shit. It just blew my mind to be like, former Patriot great, all-time slot receiver Wes Welker hates his old coach. Like, God, that's so dramatic.
I think it was the Wally Pip thing. You remember that Wally Pip
Yeah,
clip that went viral?
so funny.
I think that's what it is. It's like he got Wally Pip by Julian Edelman, and then
Yeah,
he went to the Broncos and then did his thing there. And it's like, all right, Wes, like, cool,
yeah,
dude. Catch the ball in Super Bowl 46, and then maybe you
yeah,
could have been a Patriots legend here forever. But
exactly. Yeah, but you're not a winner, and Edelman's a Super Bowl MVP and whatnot.
exactly.
Um,
Three Super
yeah,
Bowls, three Super Bowls for Mr. Edelman, including the
yeah,
MVP, like you said.
yeah. They talked very in depth about his MVP. There was another part of it too, but it's escaping my memory at this point. So I believe we can move on. But overall, fantastic, like start to finish. You should absolutely go through and watch the whole thing. It was awesome to see them yucking it up.
Thank you, Matthew Slater. Thank you, Julian Edelman. All right, Liam, we're going to wrap up this episode the same way we wrap it up every week. Come April 26th, third pick overall. Who are the Patriots taking?
Who I want them to take and who they will take are completely different.
I know. We know who you want. You want the prized
So
possession
who
from
will they
Ohio
take?
State.
It all seems like such a smokescreen now with this JJ McCarthy stuff. The Jaden Daniels hype seems to be real. I'm starting to think they will take Drake May. Commanders go with Jaden Daniels. Commanders want something exciting. It's like when there's a presidential election, they vote one guy in, and then 4 years later, they're like, well, he fucked that up. And then they swing the exact opposite way and vote somebody completely different. And then they're like, oh, well, he fucked it up. And they go back the same way. They're going to do that with Sam Howell. They're like, well, that didn't fucking work. Let's do the exact opposite of Sam Howell, which is Jaden Daniels. Because you look at Drake May, he is basically Sam Howell. Like they went to the same college. They're both strong arm quarterbacks who can run, but don't do it often. You look at Jaden Daniels, like explosive, fast, baller, cannon of an arm, doesn't exactly make all the short throws. You're like, okay, I think they're going to go with Jaden Daniels. So then that means the Patriots get Drake May.
I'm starting to just accept the fact that Drake May is probably going to be a New England Patriot.
Sure
I'm,
seems like it.
I'm just hoping he doesn't end up like Mitch Trubisky. And I'm hoping he ends up being, the quarterback of the future.
Yeah. Well, any UNC quarterback, like it's Mitch Trubisky or Sam Howell or pretty sure that's it. I can't think of any other UNC quarterbacks that have made it and have been good.
I wish Jaden Daniels would be here. I really do.
Dark times, my friend.
Or Marvin
There's
Harrison.
still
Jr.
hope. I'm gonna hold out almost blind hope.
Freaking Chad Ryland.
I take fucking Chad Ryland, you dick.
Freaking Mike Gesicki, who's not even here anymore. I had to catch that touchdown pass against Buffalo.
Handing off a first down catch as an interception against the Redskins. Douche.
No, that was a good thing. They lost that game. I'm talking about the wins. Like I would rather just one more game they lost, go 3-14. They would have had the tiebreaker against the Commanders. They would have been in the 2 seed or the 2 spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
That's the only answer. I take Joe Milton number 3 before I take Drake May. I'm going to do some Drake May film research too. I'll come back. I'll know more about Drake May in the next episode. Along with Joe Milton.
Love the
sound. I'm holding you to this though. Joe Milton.
I got you.
We're coming back this. We're going to waterboard Mike with our Joe Milton thoughts.
I will watch Joe Milton and I will give you my thoughts on him.
Please do.
As always, make sure to rate and subscribe to Tuck Rule Takes Podcast everywhere where you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, everywhere where you can listen to a podcast. Make sure to follow us. Make sure to pay attention to our Instagram page as well. Liam and Mike do great things. I will admit, I do nothing with that Instagram page. I just like the pictures and the videos and everything else. But Liam and Mike do a fantastic job of going in depth with everything that's happening with the Patriots. We will be back next week, Liam. Hopefully Mike will be with us. We are officially 25 days away as we're recording again on April Fool's Day, and it's not an April Fool's joke. 25 days away. We'll call it 24 days away from the NFL draft and finding out who the Patriots will take at number 3 overall.
Countdown, baby.
For Liam McDade, I'm your fill-in host tonight, Alan Hegan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. And as always, bye, guys.